Morning, fellow pilgrims, friends, and neighbors. Welcome to our daily devotional on this Tuesday, June the 23rd. Very glad to have you along. We are studying the book of Genesis, and this week we're in Genesis chapter 22, which is the extraordinary story of God's command to sacrifice Isaac. And we're going to look very closely at this story for just a few minutes. We know that God, in the first part of chapter 2, tells Abraham to take his son and offer his son up as a burnt offering. So Abraham gathers all the things that he needs, as well as some servants, and they begin the trek to the place that God has told him to go to. And Isaac asks his father where he can see that they've gotten everything together for the sacrifice, but they didn't bring the lamb to sacrifice. And he asked his father, and his father said that the Lord will provide. And then the verse I want us to focus on as Abraham prepares to sacrifice Isaac. The angel of the Lord, it says in verse 11, called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Do not lay your hand on the lad or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. So in this extraordinary story, I think one of the things that we learn is that our understanding of who God is can grow and develop. And for whatever reason, Abraham began to sense he was surrounded by this sort of activity where he was, and he began to sense that God wanted him to participate in this sort of activity, and he wanted to demonstrate his faithfulness to God. But in the story, we see too that Abraham learns that this is not what God wants Abraham to do. He does not want Abraham to sacrifice his son. And so Abraham learns a little more about what it means to love, what it means to be faithful to God, just as we do. And I'm reminded of the revelation of God in Jesus Christ, that what we see in Jesus is this self-sacrificing love, a love that's willing to lay down its life for others. And it sort of culminates in the first two verses of 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. So the story of faithful people in the Bible, going all the way back to Abraham and all the way through the prophets and all the way through the story of the life and ministry of Jesus and of the writings of Paul, is a story about learning what it means to live faithfully to God. And what we learn is the meaning of love. We learn the meaning of divine love. And we learn that everything is built on love. Our faith, our understanding, everything is built on this divine love. And so I ask that we remember this in this time of crisis, that in this time of trying to deal with the challenges of a pandemic, that we respond with divine love. I ask that we remember, as we hear the chants of Black Lives Matter, that we respond with love, This is our calling. This is what it means for us to live faithfully. Whatever is said around us, whatever is done, we must respond faithfully in love as God has taught us through Christ and through these scriptures, the life of Abraham. Let us close with this word of prayer. O Father, who has ordained that we be set within a scheme of circumstance, and that in stern conflict we should find our strength and triumph over all. Withhold not from us the love and the courage by which alone we can conquer. Be still our tongues of their weak complainings. Make strong our hearts against all fear, and in joyfully accepting the conditions of our earthly pilgrimage, may we come to possess our souls and achieve our purposed destiny. It has pleased thee to hide from us a perfect knowledge, yet thou calls for a perfect trust in thee. We cannot see tomorrow. We know not the way that we take. Darkness hangs about our path, and mystery meets us at every turn. Yet thou hast shut us up to final faith in goodness, justice, truth, that loving these for themselves alone, we may find the love that passeth knowledge and look upon thy face. O suffer us not for any terror of darkness or from any torment of mind to sin against our souls or to fail at last of thee. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.